Hi, I'm Mike Hutchings, and I'm here with my friend Mike. He has an amazing testimony of how Jesus has brought some healing into his life. So first of all, it's an honor to interview you, Mike, that you are a veteran of our U.S. Armed Forces. And so could you tell us briefly just your service in the military and what you did?
Yes. I was in Vietnam in 1968 and 1969. I was a combat soldier, spent most of my time on the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Cambodia. And I got into several incidents, most of all in hand-to-hand combat. And I was there 1 year and finally made it out and came back with a lot of baggage.
So that baggage, as we know, was just re-experiencing over and over again the trauma of what you went through in the war, yes. That many people call post-traumatic stress. And I wonder if you could just tell us how you experienced that, and particularly, as you've told me, it didn't get better when you left the military, it actually got worse. So can you just tell us briefly about your experiences, your symptoms, and things like that?
Yes. Even before I got home from Vietnam on the plane, I was still in shock from one of the last things that I saw before I got on the plane. And I came back home and I was very nervous. Any noise, any thunderstorm, any helicopter, anybody clapping, anything set me off. I just felt insane. I knew I had a problem. I was actually tried to commit suicide by overdosing on different things. I ended up in a mental institution. They didn't know what to do with me. They couldn't understand the things that I went through. And I got saved in a revival where Randy Clark was at my hometown. We went to school together and seminary together lately, and God gloriously saved my life. But one thing led to another. PTSD ruined my first marriage. Counting common law marriages, I've been married, this is my fifth and final one. And I carried the PTSD all through these marriages wherever I went. And I have a glorious ending to this story.
So you connected with Randy, and Randy asked me to connect with you, and we had a video call where I got to hear your story and how much suffering you're going through. So why don't you just tell us what Jesus did for you when we were praying together?
We were on video. First of all, Mike had contacted me like he said, and he did this prayer with me and spoke to parts of my body, and he can tell more about that. But immediately I started feeling something different, a release that I had never felt before, a pressure release in my brain is the only way I can explain it. And that was about a year ago, close to a year ago. And since then, pieces and parts of the insanity of the PTSD, of the dreams, have start going away more and more. And my wife is so proud of me coming down here because this is my time to get it kicked out completely. And I met up with Mike yesterday, and we completed that interview. And the first time in my life, I was at a place in this church today where everybody was making so much noise and clapping their hands. And any other time in my life, I would have ran out of that place like the Gadarene maniac, because it would have triggered my PTSD tremendously. But it did not. I was so calm and so peaceful and so grateful for God touching my life and changing my life. My wife, who is back home, has lived with me 12 years, and so she has some of my PTSD. That's going to end also when I get home. Also, thank you.
So nightmares and flashbacks and doing everything that you could. I know that what you said, that one time you tried to overdose and try to kill yourself, and God protected your life in the midst of it. And one of the things that you said to me over and over again is how hopeless you felt. You felt like you could never get out of that. Could you just speak to that briefly again?
The PTSD just kept getting worse rather than better up until about a year ago. I thought I would get away from it, but it affected every aspect of my relationships. Every time I would go to sleep, I would have nightmares. Every time I would always be killing people. My wife, I thought I wasn't having nightmares anymore because the psychiatrist put me on nightmare drug medicine. Well, I was still having them. I didn't know it, but she knew it. So I just lost my train of thought about the other question you asked me, Mike.
Just how hopeless you felt.
Oh, very hopeless. Like I got to go to my grave like this. And I kind of looked forward to death most of my life because I wanted to get rid of this PTSD. I thought it was a demon I'd have to take to my grave. But that demon is gone. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you.
Well, Mike here is an amazing testimony of a man who has a great calling on his life, and that even though trauma sought to steal, kill, and destroy that dream, it's been restored through the power of Jesus healing his broken heart. And Mike here has hope that his best years are yet ahead. And if you're watching this testimony, I want to say to you, God heals trauma. He heals post-traumatic stress. He will take away your symptoms and bring healing to your broken heart and absolutely free you from the traumatic memories that you carry. So trust him today. Believe in him. And you can reach out to me at my Facebook page, God Heals PTSD. And we just believe, as Mike has experienced freedom, that you will experience the same freedom as well in Jesus' name.
It can happen to you. It can happen to you. I'm a witness. Thank God.